Hello friends, and welcome back to the Gamer Down. This is your host, Dark Hostess, and today we are out in Gloamwood. Yeah, checking this place out. And I gotta tell you that Gloamwood is not one of the greater places to go hunt artifacts. All of them are kind of spread out, a little bit hard to reach. It's hard to get around this area. That's one of the main things. It's best to just settle into a place like Shadefallen Towers, as you see where I am on my map. And I always take this route into the towers itself to get up to the keep part. I always start from the very back where the puzzle's at. Maybe it's just a habit. I don't know. There are artifacts out in this area where I'm at right now, but I always like to start in the heart of the matter, at the center, the juicy, meaty part. Oh yeah, that's where I start at, the middle. And now don't go down this road right there. No, don't want to go down that road. Go back over to the little bridge, like right here. And if you just gun it, you can usually get past this chick. She's always patrolling there. If not, just, let your pet get it and remount up. And then I just, follow the path around this way right here. If you're wondering why I'm taking this route, it's to bypass like 100 mobs or so. Yep, that's one little problem with this area is there's a ton of mobs in Shadefallen Towers. If you are 50th level, you can walk around most of them, But if you're lower level, then you're going to have to fight some mobs. There's just not going to be any way around it. There's really nowhere in Gloamwood you can hunt artifacts without having to fight mobs, so it's really pick your poison. Well, if you are a guardian, you can pick up a few artifacts in Gloamwood Pines, and if you're a defiant, you might go there and take your chances as well. And you see I'm here up by the puzzle, and there's always artifacts around here. Sometimes they're a little hard to reach. They'll be up on limbs, and they'll be up on little parapets and things like that. And what I do is, I usually start here. And like I said, there's really no real big reason to start here. I guess I just always know I'm going to find an artifact back here. And, go up into where the puzzle's at. There's always one or two around here, too. And the ones by the puzzle have a very quick spawn rate as well. So that makes it a little bit much better to check it more often. And you'll see, there's artifacts underneath the stairs near the puzzle. And there's always an artifact right over here. Also, if you need to go AFK, this is a really good place to go. There's no mobs. You're perfectly safe inside here. And I go AFK in here quite often while hunting artifacts, and we'll give them a little time to respawn. They're kind of random, really random respawn in this area. If you followed my videos, like Iron Pine Peaks, you'll see that the spawn rate over there is just consistent and constant. And then there's some areas like Gloamwood where it's just a very, very random spawn. I mean, sometimes it's very rapid, and sometimes it seems to take forever. And once you've come down from your puzzle tower, you're going to want to hang a right and go down this gully right here. And always keep your eyes open, because the artifacts, they are everywhere, and once you've been here a while, you're going to start remembering where the artifacts are spawning at, and you're going to build your route. I'm showing you my route, and this is the route I take when I'm hunting artifacts in Gloamwood. And I go to Shadefallen Towers. And I've scoured the area. I've looked all over Gloamwood, and I've not found a much better place than here. Over by Darkening Deeps, you'll pick up a couple here or there, and on the mountains you'll pick up a couple. But if you come to Shadefallen Towers and you stay here, just don't get discouraged if they're not all over the place right away. They're going to start showing up. Trust me. There's going to be competition, and like I said, the spawn rate is just really wacky. I don't know if it's with the cycles of night or not. You see, I'm looking out this window here, and there's usually a couple of artifacts on the ledges. So you're going to want to look out all these windows, keep your eyes open. always go to the tops of the towers because, you know, there's always a little prize generally at the tops of the towers. I just had a little bit of bad luck on this run. You know, I usually get a lot more artifacts here, and I think that I had some competition running around. I think I saw a couple of rogues or so. I don't know. It's just bad luck today. And like I said, it's got the wacky spawn rates. And there are also artifact guides out. And if you check the forums, you know, you can find the really good guide, and it shows you the spawn locations. And that might be helpful, you know, but once you've been in an area a while and you see with your own eyes, you're going to remember. You know, the main thing is being at the right place. You know, you're not going to find artifacts in some places in Gloamwood. You know, you're just going to be wasting your time sitting around. You know, you want to go to places like the castles and ruins. The artifacts, you know, they are intelligently placed to a point. You know, they're always around ruins. They're always around graveyards. They're always around castles. They're always around keeps. So it's always important to go inside the towers and make sure you go up to the very top. And once you're at the very top, it also gives you a bird's eye view of the area, so you can look down and plan your route. And also backtrack yourself. Like you see, I'm already back by the puzzle tower, and there's already artifacts respawning. So you want to keep going back to this puzzle tower, and you know, when you're making your rounds, and you want to go check it out, you know, every once in a while to see if there's a couple in there. And you know, going inside places and looting the artifact will actually make the artifacts on the outside spawn. You know, they are connected in that way. It's kind of like there's a check, and if it sees that there's an artifact already existing, and it won't spawn the other ones. So it's kind of like a trigger. So like if you loot an artifact, it will trigger other artifacts to loot. It's like, you know, when I loot this one here, it's probably spawning an artifact way on the other side. I'm serious. That's how it works. You can also hunt artifacts as a team, and it really is helpful. Like you can get one person on one side and you're on the other, and it will keep triggering the artifact. And also, like, go through this cave system here at Shadefallen Tower. You know, go through all the little crooks and crannies that, you know, if you've been hunting artifacts for a while, then you know where to expect to find them. You know, they're going to be underneath the stairs. They're going to be behind a tree. You know, those sorts of things. And I'm just showing you up here because there's usually about 2 or 3 up here. And there's not today, but there's usually a few up here as well. So you want to come make your route. And this is about as far down as I come. You know, I go down through that gully, and then I will come back up through this area right here. Let's move on to another area. This is the Deep Woods Cottage, or I always call it the Hag Shack, is what I always call it. And you can see on my map exactly where I'm at. And there's a pretty decent amount of artifacts over here as well. I sometimes hip-hop between here and Shadefallen, you know, to just give them a little more time to spawn and build their population up. And I'll come over here to Gloamwood and to the Deep Woods Cottage here, and I'll pick up a few. As you see, I'm finding a few just coming into the place here. And once you're up by the cottage, go up on this little mountain range here, and you're going to pick up about 3 or 4 as well. So what you want to do is just go up this mountain range and just go to the top of this. That's very important. And look down in these little gullies and depressions, and they always spawn around in those areas. And I always go to the very top of this little mountain here. You never know what you're going to find. You really don't even need to come over to the Deep Woods Cottage, but, you know, it's just kind of a habit of mine. You know, you're going to find probably all the artifacts you need over at Shadefallen Towers. If you do, you know, if you're patient and you are willing to wait a little bit. If not, you know, if you're a little antsy like I am, then Shadefallen Towers is right next to the Deep Woods Cottage. So you can just hip-hop back and forth between the two, and, you know, it doesn't take any time at all. And by the time you're at one area, then the artifacts are spawning at the other area. And, you know, once you have been doing it a while, you can really tear through this place pretty quickly. you'll learn how to navigate the mobs well, and won't get aggroed all over the place, and you'll use your little pet trick as well. It's not too big a deal, especially if you're level 50. You're not going to have any problems. I usually just let my pet kill the mobs, and I won't even bother with it. When you remount up, your pet will quit attacking and follow you again, so you don't got to worry about it. Now I want to show you a little trick. I really don't use it very often, maybe if I'm just being extremely lazy. And I've shown you this trick over at Silverwood, and what you can do is get really close to the wall and mount up. And what this does is it gives you X-ray vision, so you can see all the way through the cottage, and you don't have to really go inside without and have to fight your way through the mobs, because you will have to fight your way through the mobs once you're inside. And you see, once you get the right angle on your camera, then you can completely look inside and check things out. And see where my mouse is at right there? Yep, there's an artifact right there. So it's worthwhile going inside. That's how I sometimes determine it. But honestly, just honestly, I really don't use this trick very often. Some people might consider it a hack or exploit or something, but I really, there's not really any huge advantage you gain from this. You can see where it is beforehand, but you still have to fight through the mobs. It's just kind of a time saver. People's time is valuable. I know that Treon doesn't think so, but people's time is valuable, and some little tricks like this sometimes come in handy. And you can use these, like the see through the walls trick, in more places than you would think. Anywhere there's a ledge or a porch or a tent or something like that, you can generally, get your mount and mount up underneath it, and you get a really good view of the area. Just be aware that you can get stuck, and I really don't get stuck that often, but there's always that chance. And you have to keep that in mind. So let's go see what that little artifact is inside. Maybe it's something valuable. Nope, it just turns out to be another little whiting. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this artifact hotspots for Gloamwood. This has been your host, Dark Hostess. The channel name is The Gamer Down. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thumbs up videos you like. It helps me and it helps the channel. Thanks again.